And then he fell ill because of the chest. And but he was still working to the end. And then 1981, we closed down.
Throughout this time, since you've been in Britain, is there a Yugoslav organisation, a Slovene in particular, that you all relate to and that keeps you as a community?
Oh yes, we meet every year, once up in Rochdale and once here in Bedford. We always meet. But it seems to me it's not really business genius amongst us. Not many, very few.
What have most of them done, do you think?
Some of them, a couple of doctors, couple of surveyors. All the ones we were students, so they finished themselves. This Dr. Janez, he became a commissioner of doctor at the end. He's 2 years older than me. And then straight after when he came here in Bristol, he was a nurse. He couldn't get he couldn't go to university because they wouldn't let him. And then somehow he bypassed it. He went to Ireland. And then he met that Irish people, the daughter of the president. And somehow they got friendly and he got a degree there. He came back, doctorship, he came back and he perfected for himself for a specialist. And then after he was consultant and on and on and on. And then, as I say, he done very well, really.
How about your children? You have children, haven't you? How have your children, do you have any problems?
No problem.
Because you were born in Slovenia?
No problems. My children pick up English so well that when we were in grammar school, both of my children were reading to their children. Their language was the nicest. So they are reading the books to them. Because the school wanted to see the perfection of the language. No problem. They went to grammar school, they passed the exams, and they went to university, they got degrees.
And would they be bilingual in Slovene and English, your children?
The boy is the first one. The boy was the first one. He didn't speak English at all when he went to school 5 years old. He went to school 5 years old, and 3 days after, he didn't want to know anything about Slovene. He spoke English. Unbelievable. It was just like overnight he knew all the English. He speaks Slovene as well, but children straight away start talking English amongst themselves, and it was, in our house, was half, no problem.
Are they interested in your background?
Yes, very much.
And
they went to Yugoslavia a few stories. Oh yes, very much. We are quite close family, very much.
Yeah. I wonder when you...
See that one, that's my grandson.
Oh yes, lovely little boy.
3 years old.
Could be a little
2.5
there.
2.5
hair. Yes. I wondered, when, having gone through the experience you did, at the end of World War II and indeed during the war, did this sort of fade from your mind in time? Because I'm wondering, about the reawakening with Count Tolstoy's books, whether they were important at all.
Yeah, put it another way. After the war, we forgot about everything, tried to forget. Contacts we had with the parents were just writing a little bit or helping each other. We settled down to work, and then we thought we have to get on with our lives. And then until for 30 years was hardly nothing. You know what I mean? We didn't talk a lot about these things. We didn't know. We just took it as it comes. And then after, when we hear that the documents will be released after 30 years, and then we start hearing about Tolstoy, then it comes back again. We start thinking about it. But in the period in between, we were not really involved with anything. There's no point in it. Marshal Tito was ruling Yugoslavia, and then our people was left alone in a way, get down with their work, and they were not really too bad off after. We visit them sometime, and then they come here to visit. My father come here to England, I don't know how many times, and all his wish it was that he would come to England once, as a young boy, and then after he fought First World War against English, against Italian, and then he was a prisoner of war in Italy for a while after he got married and so on. And but he always thought about England, something special. He said Americans, oh, they are this or that. My grandfather been in America. He come back, he never want to talk about America. But England was, in my father's head, something special. They're diplomats, they're good soldiers, they're this and that. And maybe that was the reason that I come to this country. Otherwise I may have gone somewhere. And when I come here, and I see in Cambridge when we were in school, and I see in January, February, no snow outside, no winter. I thought to myself, where are we now? This is unbelievable. This is, And then in our area, especially Kocheva there, is heavy snow in the winter. For 3 months you are cut from everything. Frost, 30 below freezing centigrade, and 33, 34 in my village. I see, this is summer all the time. And it somehow struck in my head, that it's just, stupid to go anywhere else. Isn't it? And some of my friends went to Canada, and they were not so very happy. It was hard work there as well. In 1965, when I always had a bit of a business, I went there to look. And I got a couple of, my cousin husband is millionaire, my cousin is millionaire in Alberta. But somehow I just didn't want to go there. Just didn't want to go. I thought to myself, I am in a good enough area, center of money in the world in London, isn't it? And then after I started to do a bit of stock market and all that,
Well, what do you think is the secret, for somebody adapting to another country? Obviously you have done this extremely well, and I can see from your relationships with, for instance,
the secret is hard work, be tolerant, and try to use a little bit of your savings to bring you a little bit of rewards.
A little bit of?
Rewards. Buy a house, start in your own way, and then after, if you can do a little bit more, you have to speculate a little bit. See? What happened is when I closed the factory, I paid everybody off, and what was left, if I carried on making losses, I would be bankrupt. So I paid everybody off, whatever it belongs to them, and what was left was mine. And then when I had a factory, I learned a lot of things. I learned about stock market, I learned a little bit of all those bits and pieces, and then went to British Home Stores, 1970, and I couldn't sleep in the night. I thought to myself, I have to do something. I had their balance sheet, I looked at it, I have to do something, I have to diversify somehow. And then after I started to play a little bit of stock market. And then when it comes down, the bank said to me, you have to sell all the stock and pay us off if you want to carry on with the business. I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'll close the business down. And in that way I saved really everybody in a way. What happened is that is a lot of circumstances. 1976 we had tax introduced on the employee. We had to find straight away tax. Our rates were £4,000 a year then. 1976 and 1977 were £8,000, double the price straight away. And we had a bit of revolution in West Africa when we were getting Sapele timber. Timber was £2 a cubic foot, and then we had to pay £6 straight away. We couldn't put it to the customer, and we were one of the biggest users of wood in this area, except steel industry and mines. Using a lot of wood, and then 1,000 cubic meters, so that 30,000 cubic feet of timber a year I had to buy for the factory. Instead it was £70,000, was 300,000, as they say, and the things are going slowly down. We lost 30,000 first year, and then government helped us a little bit. They gave us a little bit of grant. So second year we didn't lose, and third year we lose another 20, and so another 20. There was no way to carry on. No way.